Live from the Base Room Studio 2.0 in Seattle, Washington, this is the Podworm Spacecast. The Podworms are 7 lifelong friends who went to Index, Washington for the Podworms retreat, and all they got was this stupid shirt. Welcome to the Spacecast. Well, hey, and welcome back to the Podworm Spacecast, everybody. We're so excited. We're back in Seattle, back from the retreat. We're feeling rested. We're feeling ready to podcast. And let me introduce to you the guys I'm joined with today. We have our deadly brother, Kevin McCoy.
And the deadly brother roll call.
He's without his other deadly brother, but he's, off doing better stuff.
For sure.
I don't know what's better than the podcast, but it must be something pretty important to not show up.
He's editing a music video.
Yeah, all right, whatever. I guess that's pretty important.
Cool.
Let's do this week.
We have our little buddy, Jim Charters.
Support your local library.
We have our DJ, producer, all-around great guy, Chase Golka.
Hello there.
And we have the man who, he didn't sell me my insurance, but some people in the greater Seattle area may have.
He sold me my insurance.
True.
No kidding.
Yeah.
True.
Phil Williams.
Testimonial. I'd like to propose a new name. How about the Bad Boy of Bothell?
Bad boy.
Wow. Very good. I mean, I like it, but are you able to come up with a badass nickname for yourself?
Philly Fuckstick.
Okay.
I'm on the nickname train. The 5 of us here. How about we call this the Friendtastic 5?
Fantastic
good,
Five.
man.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Because these are the true friends of the group.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Take that, Fantastic Four.
Whereas Mike and Peter, they're on the show typically, but it's only because we felt bad for them and we went to high school with them.
They're not part of our friends. They're just podworms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a separate chat that they aren't in.
It's okay. They don't listen to this anyway.
Yeah, they're not going to listen to this.
Try to give you hand signals over here.
Because they're not the true Fantastic 5, so they're not going to ever hear this.
Definitely not.
That's where we share all our free coupons to Domino's and Pagliacci.
Oh, yeah, it's where we give each other friend referrals to, monthly subscriptions and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried to find a discount code online, where you're entering... You're about to purchase something and there's a discount code box and you just go online and just look to see if there's any codes out there?
Not once in my life has that worked, but I've tried it. I can't. Every single purchase.
I think I got
tried.
it to work once for like Papa John's and I was so happy and I'd never worked since.
Have you heard of honey?
Oh my God, stop it.
What's honey?
Yes.
Please.
I mean,
what is this?
from bees?
Yeah, like bees make
wasps make
There
honey
is a
too.
Chrome extension
Yeah.
that is linked into all the most recent codes. I feel like we should get paid for this.
They do advertise on podcasts.
They advertise all the time.
I use it regularly and it generally gives me a discount code.
What? Cool.
All right.
I'm going to try that.
Well, maybe I'll have to give that a shot.
Dude, this has never worked for any of you?
Well, it's worked for me seldomly, but never the good ones, because there's those websites that aggregate all the codes and people will upvote them or downvote them depending on if it worked or not. And it seems like people are just on those sites to troll, because the good discounts, 25% off, $20 off. People upvote them. They're the top one. I try and use it. Doesn't work for me. What the
They're
hell?
like always out of date.
They're always if you're the first time user for whatever service you're trying to buy, and which I am not. I'm trying to I want discounts all the time when I use this thing, but it's always for first time users only.
I have to rescind my initial comment. They do actually work for me, but they're oftentimes the advertised promotion on the actual website itself. When you go on, it says
right.
Put shop for 20% off. I go to a third party website. I'm like, oh, shop.
Ooh.
That's a great idea. And then
Crack the code. Yeah.
I've even guessed these without knowing them.
No.
There's 2 times that come to mind where I've guessed these. The most recent one was the Imogen Heap tour that came through.
Really?
She lets a pre-sale for her, people who are in her fan club, and she's selling tickets ahead of time. And I was just like, okay, what was the pre-sale code for the last time she came through Seattle? And it was the name of her album at the time. And so I just typed in the new album's name and got a pre-sale ticket.
Wow.
Bingo.
Same thing for Noah Gunderson, except his was it had the year and it was a little bit more complicated, but it was not hard to guess.
I'm just going on a limb here. It's pretty easy to hack into Imogen Heap's computer if she's just doing a password. Password.
Yeah, I don't think these pre-sale codes are meant to be super hidden.
No.
Yeah.
No, because I remember with the Vampire Weekend one for the tour this year is was like the name of the album. It was not
Vampire.
It was Vampire. Yeah. Use code Vampire. And you're like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're just spending money earlier than you would typically. So they're probably not super concerned about it. I wasn't planning on taking the podcast this direction, but I feel like this really led into this story anyway. Before I dive into this, let me just explain what we have going on first. We will be talking to Clive from the Podmails.
Yes.
We are getting him on the show. He's dialing in from South Africa to talk to us on the show. So that's coming up later. Got a lot to ask that man.
Oh, so much.
So we'll be getting into that.
Isn't Clive just like a nickname too?
Yeah.
Clive
He's going to tell us his real name.
I'm so excited to hear it.
I know, me too.
Yeah. Well, we all know that I did not do it justice. So yeah, it'll be interesting to hear him. And then I have a story from when I got lost in a parking lot recently.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So that's
This is going to be some good content.
If I were a listener, I'd be very stoked right now.
so that's coming up. So stay tuned. But this led me into something that, like I said, I wasn't planning on bringing this up on the show, but just felt so right, which is that we all know that back, I don't know how many episodes ago, it's been 30, 40. I discussed the time I bought porn on the internet.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very famous episode.
And it actually kind of spanned 2 episodes. For some reason, I think we just couldn't fit it into one.
Yeah,
No, there's no way you could fit that into one.
You saying you bought porn spurred so many stories from the rest of us that we didn't even let you talk.
Yeah. And then we had to let you actually tell the story.
Right, that's what it was.
For myself and some listeners out there, what website was it again?
It was Bang Bros.
Oh, a classic.
Bang, bro.
Which, let me say, of the sites you could subscribe to, it gave you access to so many of their subsidiaries that you got access to so much more porn than I ever could have imagined. It was
Amazing.
truly a gift.
I feel like this is all of them, though. Don't they all have like?
Yeah.
we're affiliated with
all the rest of the other sites.
It's kind of like Coca-Cola or Frito-Lay.
Right. They own a bunch of different brands.
Yeah, you're going to get the Pringles
Yeah.
and the pub mix. Stuff you wouldn't expect. But anyway, so that happened recently, I'll just say a few days ago, that I was just browsing, doing my thing. I had some time on my hands, like I sometimes do. And there was just some reason I was really compelled to consider buying some more porn again.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
Why not?
recently.
You're compelled.
You're an adult. You get a paycheck.
Is this like yesterday?
you can do.
Honestly, I'm going to come to bat for Andrea here. I consume so much free pornography that I'm like, you know what? I should do my part.
Do my part.
I should help these young
How are
girls
you
out.
doing your part?
Keep this show running.
I essentially envision myself like a scholarship program, trying to get these ladies through college or whatever.
Right.
I'll do my part.
Well, here's a problem with porn is that
All right.
you're only interested in it in your weakest moment. It's very much like trying to be on a diet while you're high as fuck.
Yes.
It's just you're gonna call DoorDash. You're gonna get everything from the Burger King. It's just it's happening, and so you're only interested in porn the worst possible moment. And the second that you're done, you're disgusted with yourself. You want to just push the laptop as far away as possible. You know it's a bad decision, but you're sitting in the moment, and it's all you really want to accomplish right now.
This laptop that's sitting very
right in
close to
front
me
of
right
us.
now.
Yeah, right in front of us.
Yeah, right. This one here.
Cool.
Yeah, it's seen some shit. But so on this particular day, I was looking for free passwords first because I'm like, look, I want to do this, but I'm not going to spend money if I don't have to because I'm thinking back because I'm not the kind of guy who makes a mistake and, doesn't learn from it. So I'm thinking back to the last time, boy, was that ever a hassle to cancel that? And, just so skeezy. I'm not interested in that. So
Was the free stuff just not doing it for you or what?
there's something about just the fact that you have the internet, you can find basically everything, but there's some things you just can't find. It's behind a paywall. How the hell do they keep
You
it
mean a
behind the paywall?
specific video?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Andrew is getting caught looking at those ads that they have.
Right.
He's
that's right.
scrolling the free
clicking
ones
on
and he's
all
like,
those
oh, look,
ads.
he's like, that ad looks pretty good.
That has happened, but it
You
was
think
not
it's
this
a
time.
video.
It was not this time. But yeah, those are
right.
sometimes kind of effective.
Does
Whatever
your
you
girlfriend
say.
listen to this podcast?
She doesn't.
But we're safe.
Oh yeah, this is
We're so safe.
This is a safe space.
Oh, yeah.
Only my parents, coworkers, people from high school I haven't talked to in person in a decade. It's a safe space.
Yeah, totally.
Someone from South Africa I've never met before.
Maybe some of these porn stars out there.
Maybe a porn star.
Maybe they'll send you a code.
Oh man, that'd be a great get.
Porn stars out there, send us free codes.
And construction workers, porn stars, construction workers.
Yeah.
Send us the codes. So I went to see it because sometimes people. I mean, you bought the porn subscription. Why not share the wealth with your friends online?
Right.
I figured someone might be posting username, password. Did not find any.
Like sharing a Netflix account.
Like sharing a Netflix account, exactly. But
Well,
no,
I mean, there's 5 of us here.
Yeah.
wait a second.
We just have to make sure, like, maybe there's a rule where you can only 2 people can be using it at one time.
Chase, I have to stop you right now.
What?
You're plagiarizing the opening scene to Superbad right now, where they're trying to decide on the porn subscription that they're going to share in
that's
college.
right.
Yeah, we just have
That's the
to.
very beginning of that.
But let's put it this way: if there's like a limit, so let's say we do it, and there is a limit, we need to just make sure that all of our schedules are synced. Maybe
Yeah.
we create like a nice Google spreadsheet where we
fill out a time
block
slot.
off times
Yeah.
for when each of us needs to
I'll hit
do a
it.
little
I'll hit it
work.
like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because I'll be hitting it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know what I mean?
I'm afraid I do.
Sure.
Yeah. One, I don't need into this.
Okay.
This
All right, that's fine.
All right, Kevin.
I'm more than
Suit
satiated.
yourself.
You're out of the Fantastic Five.
Yeah, you might be losing your status in the Fantastic Five.
You could join the ranks of Phil and Mike.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Peter and Mike. Oh shit. Now I'm out of the Fantastic Five.
Wow.
Now it's down to 3.
Just us 3 guys.
Yeah, it's just a 3.
I'd never betray any of you.
Yeah.
Well, I think you could take a cue from what Andrew did last time, which is just log in once, download the whole site, and then
Apparently a loophole that they never closed.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that's the case.
Can we start our own porn network that we just re-upload the paywall porn and then put it behind a paywall for other people?
Have you
Oh
guys,
my god.
Have you seen that editor on Wikipedia that's responsible for like 10 trillion articles?
Seriously?
He's like the savior of Wikipedia. He's like this. He looks exactly what you're envisioning, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like he spends all day editing Wikipedia.
He is responsible for an absurd amount, like 15% of all Wikipedia
Damn,
articles.
I've
He's an
never heard
editor.
of this guy before.
That's all he does all day long.
He's a G.
You know, he really is the Jesus of the internet. He's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
We can take that. We can be his disciples. One of us can spend all day buying porn subscriptions,
Yes.
downloading, canceling for the greater good.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
For the greater good.
Localize
until
porn.
they find us and shut us down.
Well, so more to come on that.
gross.
The Porn Worms Network. Coming soon.
Pornworm Sploogecast.
It's a subsidiary site. Oh man, you're hitting it with the names today,
Nice
Phil.
one.
So on this particular day, couldn't find any friendly folks sharing the information. And so I was just checking out the purchasing page because if it's through PayPal, pretty reputable. Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
One-time thing.
It's discreet.
Let's just see what's going on. But it wasn't. It was through some other payment processing company that I hadn't heard of. And I was pretty wary, which I think is probably a good thing to be when you're about to purchase some random porn
what's
on
the
the internet.
site?
Probably.
The same one or a different one?
What was this one?
Yeah,
this time?
for the sake of conversation, let's just call it the same site.
I'm really curious. Okay.
Can we at least use a placeholder like Slippy
hold
Nippies
on.
or something?
How long did it take for us to get him to divulge what the real site was last time? Because we'll break him eventually.
So, for those out there listening, it was definitely not the same site as last time.
So it was an undisclosed pornography website.
yeah.
I gotta imagine has a very specific title.
It couldn't be found in all the free porn.
Yeah, this is why he had to pay.
It's just behind the paywall.
And so I looked up the company because even in my delirious state, I was still with it enough to to think twice about this decision I was about to make.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, they didn't have very good reviews online.
Oh.
Someone said, a skeezy website that even though they canceled it, they charged them again, had a hard time getting in touch with the customer service. I was even surprised they had a customer service, frankly.
Yeah, seriously.
But they got 1 stars all across the board. And it was at that moment I decided to abandon this whole idea, go find some normal porn.
Uh-huh.
And I wrapped everything up. And then I was really appreciative to past Andrew, who had the foresight to realize, look, you don't need to get involved in this whole racket.
In this
You're
nefarious
better
world.
than this. Yeah. And so I made the right decision. I didn't actually end up purchasing it, but I was so close. But the Yelp reviews stopped me.
I'm glad that you've learned something at least.
I came to my senses
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So there you go. I don't know if there's any moral to that story. I guess the only moral is that if you do have a username and password, feel free and send it over to the podcast, pwspacecast@gmail.com. All right. So last week I was in Bellevue Square, which is this, for those of you who aren't aware, if you live on another continent, because we do have fans on other continents.
That's right.
Nice.
Bellevue Square is just like a large kind of metropolitan city. Is that a proper description of it?
Yeah.
It's a mall.
It's a place,
Okay.
it's a place
Yeah.
for
It's
squares.
just a mall.
It's not. Yeah, Bellevue
It's a-
Square is
it's a
a
place
part of
for
Bellevue,
square-
which
yeah.
is a city.
Okay.
Chase is right. It's a place
it's
for
a place
square-
for squares.
For squares, yeah.
So I guess
hang out.
I guess I'm thinking about what do I call it? Like downtown Bellevue is kind of the city, and then Bellevue Square is more or less the mall with the restaurants and whatnot.
Right.
Okay.
To illustrate Bellevue Square, it is the biggest, fanciest mall right around the Microsoft campus.
Yep.
So you can imagine the clientele that shops there.
Yes.
Right.
And,
Bougie as fuck.
and the shops that are there.
For example, we have Pioneer Square in Seattle. We have Bellevue Square in Bellevue.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And if you look at a map from space, it's actually a square.
Whoa. Nuh-uh.
No way.
What is
I don't
the
know.
Earth?
That's for the next
I
episode.
think your image is very pixelated.
It might be.
Earth.
Yeah, I guess it was just one single pixel. I was zoomed out pretty far. So we went to dinner and we have this typical parking lot we like to park in, which I actually don't love parking in it because it's always so busy. You have to climb up you have to go up ramps about 6 times till you get to a floor where there's finally some spaces to park in. It's just a huge hassle.
Is this the front lot or the back lot?
I guess the front lot.
Yeah, that's your problem, pal.
Yeah, there you
Oh
go.
yeah, gotta go to the back lot.
Do you not do the thing where you like do laps around the bottom until you find somebody pulling
I
out?
hate stalking people. I refuse to do it. I won't do it.
I agree.
you.
I agree with you.
I'm a big fan of the stalking.
I think that there's
Personally.
a fine line when parking space stalking. If they're in the car and you see the reverse lights come on, stalk away.
Yeah.
If
Turn
they
that
are
signal on.
unloading their groceries,
No.
go fuck yourself.
Oh,
There's
I just hate the waiting. I would just breeze past those people.
I don't get mad. Well, this makes me mad when someone is stalking someone and I'm behind that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Ugh.
like, screw you, dude. There's literally and especially at Bellevue Square, there's like 6 cars behind you.
Yep.
For sure. All waiting for this one guy who's waiting for one other guy. If you just turn the corner, there's 3 other spots
Just
there
keep going.
immediately.
But at least that parking garage is big compared to the one at U Village, which is 1 lane, and you back up and there's like 20 cars behind you trying to get in while somebody's waiting for space.
It's horrible.
Awful.
The worst thing is when people stalk the person with the cart. They're still pushing it to the car.
Oh, they're like creeping behind them really
Yes.
slowly, like they're about to pounce.
Yes, it's horrible.
Dude, just go find another one. Don't be a lazy asshole.
I will always park so far away to avoid having to deal with the parking drama.
I mean, you could
Yeah,
park
same.
you could park at the very top. Take the elevator.
My
Nobody
legs
cares.
work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
people just hate working their body.
It's
Like
true.
30 extra steps that you'd rather wait 5 minutes. I don't get it.
I would so much 30 steps. I would so much rather be out of my car and walking
Yeah.
than be waiting in my car to just park.
100%.
I don't understand it. I just have
It's-
diametrically opposed values to most
I
people.
think that the
You don't.
same
We're all
demographic
throwing-
that parking lot stalks are the people that get upset that there's no rascal motor scooters to go around the Best Buy with.
They're just not looking to use their legs to get around that day.
exactly.
The Job of the Hut style demographic.
I see.
Oh, okay.
So there's this typical lot I would like to park in, but what I didn't realize, I came in a different direction that day, and during a specific time of day, they won't let you turn right because there's so much foot traffic. The pedestrians are always in the crosswalk, and you always hold up traffic because you can never turn right. There's never an opportunity to turn right. And so I needed to turn right to get into this parking garage. And so I said, well, fuck it. I'm not going to sit here and just like I don't want to sit in front of people and stalk a spot. I wasn't going to just sit there and wait for a right turn. The signs that I wasn't supposed to, people are going to start honking. I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I go straight through and I figure there's another parking lot somewhere. There's a lot of shopping there. And so I do find another lot. It's an underground parking lot by the Microsoft campus. and I found a spot, no problem there. I mean, it was pretty busy. We had to go down a few floors. We found a spot. So similar idea, just climbing down the ramps until you find the spot. And then we went and had dinner. Then we had to go and leave, as you do after you're done somewhere.
Yep.
And so
When you're done, you got to leave.
That's what I always say.
we're walking out and we're just kind of tracing our steps back to go find the parking garage, and it's underground. And I couldn't remember what the area looked like where we popped up, because we kind of came up in a hotel and then we meandered around the city a little bit and got to the restaurant.
Oh, I know
where
exactly
you
you are. I know exactly where you parked.
I used to have to do work in Bell Square in my big work van, and I one time had my whole bag of tools, and I did almost the exact same thing where I ran around the block like 10 times trying to find the entrance.
Well, they have the little notepads by the elevator so you can jot down your spot.
They have notepads for
Yeah,
that.
it's fancy.
Yeah. Well, and I looked at it and I scoffed at it on the way out. And I was like, who could forget where you parked? It's just keep track of your car. I've never in my life had a hard time finding my car where I parked. It's not
scoffed at
Disneyland.
And
It's a parking garage.
And to be clear, you actually didn't park at Bellevue Square.
No?
You parked at Lincoln Square.
Oh, shit.
It's true.
I made it
different
all the way to
place.
Lincoln
That's
Square.
This is your problem, first off.
See-
and then underneath Lincoln Square, if you go all the way to the bottom level, there's a drive-through to the hotel, which also has a parking garage on the other side of the street, which is where your car was.
Yeah, they're all like interconnected.
God.
My gosh.
Plus, there are
and if you
like-
go even further, there's a little leprechaun that gives you money when you get down there.
His name's Fred.
I did not go that far.
To get more confusing, there are residents of Lincoln Square that have their own segregated parking lots with cages that come down.
Whoa.
True. Yeah, in the back. Yeah.
It is all sorts of fucked up in there.
Yeah, so very confusing. Lots of different parking going on. And so we eventually kind of stumbled across an elevator in a building that looked like it went down to a parking garage. And I could not recall anything about this parking garage. I did not memorize it. I did not think I had to memorize anything about it, but all the floors are colored like blue, orange, green. And I could have sworn we were on the orange floor, but I also could have sworn we were on the fourth floor. And those two did not line up because this was a 4 and green. And I thought we were 4 and orange. And so we go down there and we're walking through the lot and I'm hitting my lock button, trying to get it to beep, and it's not honking. But here's the catch: is that my key fob is dying, and so I don't think the reach is very long. And so we're walking around, we're checking the 4th floor, we're going up to the 3rd floor, we're going up to the 2nd floor, we're walking around, and then we're kind of doing this weird thing. We're acting weirdly because we're kind of leaving the elevator and coming back in, and there's an older couple that jumped in the elevator with us, and I don't know why I made conversation with them, but I said like, yeah, we're going back up to the surface trying to find the car. And he's like,
Classic elevator
Nice
talk.
conversation.
I felt compelled to tell him.
Tuesday?
I felt compelled to talk to him. I don't remember why. And he said, "Where are you guys parked?" And I said, "I think we're parked in a parking lot like this, but I think we're on the other side of it." And he said, "Oh, well, this parking garage is connected to it's like the north side, south side, whatever. They're connected." And I said, "Okay, that's good to know. I don't think we're in this one." And so we got out. We walked around the city more. We walked in a different parking garage. Spoiler, that was not the right parking garage. Then we backtracked. We said, okay, we remember that we came out of the Hilton, which was the hotel we popped out of when we took the elevator up the first time. So I said, let's just stop guessing at random elevators. Let's just walk back to the Hilton. We know we came out of there. Let's go down. That will for sure bring us to the parking lot. No problem. So we walk to the Hilton. We go down. We end up on the 4th floor. It's fucking green. And as it turned out, we had just gotten in, like the old guy said, an elevator that was just across the lot in the same parking structure. We just did not walk down far enough to figure out where we were. So we were on the right floor the whole time. We just didn't walk the right way to go find my car.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
The call was coming from inside the house.
Emily is remarkably patient. I'm just going to go.
Yeah, for real.
Kudos to you if you're listening. Probably not. I mean,
I guess
understandably not.
If she was, she probably turned it off by now.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely. But I feel like nobody who's never been there cannot understand how frustrating this is, because I can sympathize with you. You sound like a crazy person. I couldn't find my car in a parking garage. It is labyrinthian. You have to like literally drop breadcrumbs after you park your car there. It is crazy.
I'm sure we've all parked even just on Capitol Hill and been like, which freaking block is my car on?
Oh, yeah,
because they
definitely.
all look very similar after a certain point.
After a certain amount of drinks.
That's true. That's also true.
That did not help.
Maybe not the smoothest transition, but I definitely had the similar effect. It was a definitely stoned idea that I had down in Vancouver. We were visiting some friends, and me and Chase got picked up by our friends who were coming from Canada.
Yep.
We stopped at a store in Vancouver, came out, and immediately freaked out that I couldn't find my car. I had just ridden in somebody else's car for 4.5 hours, and I came out like, "Oh shit, where's my car?
Where did I park?
Freaked out.
It's a frightening moment.
It's true. He exclaimed it at the time as well.
Yeah, there has been definitely a few times where I've thought my car was stolen because I couldn't find it, and I realized I parked in a different place than normal. And yeah, it definitely sends a little scare.
My car has this feature that like, because I plug in my phone when I get in the car and it like goes up on the screen in front and like plays my music and stuff. But when I get out, it automatically adds a marker in Maps as to where the exact spot of my car is on a GPS spot. So like I can always walk straight to it every time because it's on
cool.
my map. Yeah.
Very cool. I'd like to do some clinical tests with underground parking.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll work the same way, but it certainly would have at least that lot. Like, because it'll keep it wherever it last saw you. Right.
That is very cool. Is that a feature of your phone or your car?
It's a part of, I think, the Apple Play. I forget what it's called.
Apple
inside the
CarPlay.
CarPlay.
Yeah.
Apple CarPlay.
Huh.
Your phone and your car, they talk to each other. That's just the world we live in now.
I
Hey, what's
don't want
up,
to go
car?
on. Don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but I was speaking with my brother before he flew back down to go to work, and he was telling me about his company is just coming out with a $1,000 Apple monitor stand.
Oh,
today.
I've
Yeah.
seen this. This has been all the rage today.
$1,000.
He said,
Why?
brace yourself.
Wait,
he did it? No way. He said that?
He's like, some crazy shit's gonna happen.
Wait, your brother
my
is working on this?
Well, and he's not working. He just works at Apple, and it's kind of been the buzz.
Yeah, that was huge news
He said
yesterday.
even internally, everybody's like, "What the?"
Oh yeah, it was big. It was like big on Reddit yesterday. The reaction from the crowd in the audience there was just completely stunned, and they brushed past it so fast.
I don't understand. Did they even explain it just a little bit what this thing is?
No.
For just for everybody, this was announced at an Apple thing where they announced whatever they're working on, some bullshit, and they announced it's just a stand for a monitor, and that's literally all it is. And they announced it's $999.
That's an iPhone 10.
So it's not even a monitor. It's just a stand.
it's just a stand.
Okay, that was my question because I was like, I'm pretty sure I heard you wrong, and it is a monitor at
And
least.
The actual computer tower is like $6,000 by itself.
At
It
the
looks
low
like
end.
nothing.
At the low end, yeah.
It looks
What?
like nothing.
That's
The
the
hell?
tower. The monitor itself is $5,000.
That's right. Yeah.
What
Well, I think it's for
the hell?
it's for very specific professionals that would ever use it, but you can get it up to I think in the like multiple tens of thousands of dollars with it totally
totally
pimped out.
kitted out. I think it
Yeah.
can retail up to $45,000.
Do you know any? Can you list off any single feature of this stand?
I asked my brother because I was like, "What is going on?" We've been texting all
wanna look it
day
up.
because I saw the article, and I said, "So what's the feature?" And he's like, "It's got a cool rotation thing."
So here's what we do.
So
Here's
that's
what we
direct
do,
from the
guys.
horse's mouth.
We get the exact measurements of that hookup, right? And we sell a $40 version that doesn't rotate
Exactly.
and make $1 billion.
And it's made out of like plastic.
I'm willing to
And
bet
wood.
China's already all over that.
Damn it. You're
Yeah.
right.
I hate to talk.
They're
mad
making
sh-
them right now.
Yeah, I think there's like a direct pipeline from the Apple keynote speech to every factory in China.
Oh man, you guys have really convinced me that this isn't my Bill Gates moment.
Maybe not.
Stick to phones, Apple.
Kevin's business empire built on stands.
2 years from now, like 2 years after this thing is released, there still is no alternatives to that stand. and like we record ourselves on this podcast, and I'm just like, fuck you.
I am happy to do the 2-year retrospective on the stand.
There's like articles coming out like Apple's super secret measurements of their professional stand for their Mac Pro.
It's a fairly minimal looking stand too. It's crazy, but
I can imagine too. You get like an off-brand stand, and all of a sudden the monitor says is not compatible with.
oh my god!
Well, I just imagine that like all those screws are counterclockwise on the stand, so that you have to use it.
I guarantee it's a proprietary screw that you cannot get anywhere else, and the screws are probably like $100.
Yeah, $100 each. Apple sourced them from their own their own factory in China somewhere.
Look at this little graphic. I'm about to show everybody a little graphic of what the stand does, and maybe we'll post this somewhere. But I can also explain it. It is that simple what this thing does. Just watch this for. Just watch this.
Okay.
Are you fucking shitting
That's
me?
what normal. That's what normal
That's like
computer
a normal
stands do.
computer monitor.
Chase, describe what we're seeing.
For those at home, it shows the stand just, kind of moving up and down like you'd think it would normally do. And then also you can tilt the screen from being vertical or like horizontal to vertical and back again. And that is it.
I have $100 monitor at home that does that.
So do I. Yeah, so do I.
Not $1,000 stand.
Yeah,
Insane.
I bet you wish you did.
It's all right. If you guys want to opt out, my brother told me you can buy a $200 VESA mount adapter.
So it does the same thing.
So to put it on an arm or any sort of mount, it costs an additional $200. So
For the adapter.
for the adapter, to make it VESA
And that's on a
compatible.
monitor that's $5,000.
If you haven't seen the thing, you might as well go look at the speech. It's like a 30-second clip at the end, but it truly is the thing he's sweeping under the rug at the very last second. He's like, yep, so we got this $200 thing. We got the $1,000 stand. All right, back to Tim.
That is insane. I stopped buying stuff from the Apple store like 5 years ago when I went in there and I was just like, I just want to have my computer showing on the TV, right? And they're like, you need to buy 2 cords. Each of them is $50. And I was like, I did not plan on spending $100 to connect my computer to the TV. I like leave the store, just go online, one quick Amazon search, 1 cable, not 2, $15. And I was like, fuck this place. I'm never coming back.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I bought it because we're always losing the damn chargers around the house because they get taken to work or in the car. And I was tired of always fighting over this like $3 charger, but it's not a $3 charger if you go to Apple. It's like a $35 cord. And I went to China, and I got a 5-pack for like $12 from Amazon Basics.
Amazon Basics is the way to go.
Yeah.
15-foot charging cord or 10-foot charging cord. I think I have the 10-foot. Best $3 I've ever purchased.
Oh yeah, that is full relaxation in bed and charging.
Absolutely.
Also, I'm pretty sure I've pushed this on the pod before, but I recommend the iPad charger as opposed to the iPhone charger
Higher amps.
because it'll fucking charge your phone fast.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting.
You're talking about the actual thing that plugs into the power source, right?
I don't know. It's whatever it is.
Okay.
It's the thing. I don't know.
The iPad charger.
I told you everything I know.
All right,
Go
fair
figure it
enough.
out for yourself.
All right, so we're about to get on the phone here with Clive, but before we do that, I don't know if we ever shared this pod mail on the show, but when I was looking through our pod mail email address, pwspacecast@gmail.com, I saw that someone, because you all have access to it, someone had starred a message that I don't think I ever personally read or shared in the show, but I just want to share it now because it was so good, couldn't help but share it. This was from a fan named Sean Bishop, and this was actually dated September 20th, 2017.
What?
Whoa.
Well.
Back in the annals.
Yeah, this was what was that, like 1 month after we started recording?
Early pod.
This
Wow.
is around this is prehistoric.
Probably Sean Archduke by now.
Sean's probably pissed off
Minimum.
he wrote in and never heard from us.
Yeah, Sean's still a listener.
Sean Cardinal.
But this is
Yeah,
what
I don't know what Catholic things are.
That's all right. It's not useful in any way.
this is what Sean had to share with us. He said, "Y'all some crusty tube sock motherfuckers."
I feel like I've heard this.
Did we share it before?
Is it in our social media somewhere?
I don't know.
Wait, is there more to it? I'm
That's
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Fair enough.
Oh my god.
Are you sure we didn't read that? I feel like we must have read that.
I'm not sure. I mean, it was starred. There's a good chance we did read it, but I hadn't remembered it. And I just popped because I looked in our starred box and that was one of them.
Well, that's fitting with the story
Thanks.
you told today.
Yeah.
It's pretty consistent. Even me from 2 years ago, still pretty consistent. So that's good to see.
If you're still out there, Sean, keep squirming.
Keep squirming.
Keep squirming.
With us from the beginning.
So we're about to get on
Wait,
the phone.
is that
here.
what squirming is?
I'm about to squirm.
the dark secrets of the term keep squirming?
Haha, we've been making you say it this whole time.
Yeah, you guys.
I imagine everyone at home does it at the same time we do at the end of the episode, right?
Yeah. If I listen to an episode, I definitely chime along.
I love the synchronicity of our squirms.
Yeah, can't help
It's
it.
the key to the
We all
pod.
squirm
It
at
really
once.
is.
Even if I'm in the middle of the mall and I have my headphones on, I'll sing along.
So we're about to talk here to Clive. And before we do that, I don't know if I'm coming clean or if I'm throwing the rest of the podworms under the bus, but there was a few episodes ago, we were supposed to have a guest on the show. Pablo Bonilla from the Lineup podcast was so gracious. He did a very fun interview with us. We
had a really good time with him.
We talked about movies. Such a great guy. Hopefully we'll have him on again soon. We talked to him. I have his audio, but we do not have our audio. And here's what happened was that we were so busy working on how to record his audio and get it sound clean that by the time we got it all figured out, we had him on the line. No one ever turned the recording device on. And I hope this isn't the first time Pablo finds out about that. Hopefully we've addressed it with him personally before this.
Meaning that as of recording this, we have not yet. Hopefully.
Well, I'm not responsible for those types of media relations.
Yeah, I was not there.
It's not me.
I was not there, Pablo.
I wasn't there either. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a little bit of passing the buck even in the moment of
Sure was.
whose fault it was, who's going to deal with this.
Of course there was.
I think Mike definitely took it the hardest. Mike was very disappointed in himself
Yeah.
for not turning on the recording device.
That's right. And I was disappointed in myself for not checking we were recording.
Jim always checks to make sure we're recording. That didn't take place. I probably could have been focused on it. None of us did it. But at the time of recording this, no one has told him yet either. So
bummer.
I think it's going to have to be, maybe the five of us can figure out who's, I'm thinking it's probably going to be either Peter or Mike that has to tell him.
Absolutely.
Or,
Oh, totally.
or other option, we go back and then we dub ourselves back in, asking him questions, just general banter while he answers these questions.
That is a viable
Can we-
choice.
can we turn it
It'll
into
be
a
smooth.
Let's turn it into a real gotcha journalism segment where we just make him say absurd things.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pablo. I wasn't there either. Don't know you. Probably a nice guy,
Yeah.
but whatever.
But you're just content to fill.
Yeah.
The more we talk, the more none of us were actually there.
Yeah.
It's crazy in the 2 years we've been doing this. That's the only time we've ever actually dropped an
It
episode.
actually is true. I was going to say that. It's pretty surprising.
We
We've done good.
we had one other close call where I got home and I looked at the SD card and it was completely empty. And what I'd actually done is I'd put in an SD card that was the wrong speed. It was a class 1, not a class 10.
Oh, boy. Classic mistake.
But luckily, one, I immediately threw that away, so we'd never use it again. 2, because I'm like super cautious, I'd always double record, so there's always 2, and so the second one had our backup. And we were fine.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
That is very fortunate.
So smart, but I also love the image of you getting home and taking this tiny little SD card out, being so disgusted you have to throw it away immediately. You run down the stairs.
He's like smashes it with a hammer.
Yeah, I was like, this is. I mean, like, who needs a class 1 SD card? What
I know, right? Who needs a class one SD card?
what happened is this deal. Amazon knows me so well.
Yeah.
They advertised a 200 gigabyte SD card, and I was like, "Holy shit, that is amazing!"
Yeah.
it was like
That's a
It was
lot.
like $15 for 200 gigs,
What?
and I was
Wow.
like, "This is the craziest sale I've ever
Yeah,
seen."
that's nuts.
And then I didn't even look at anything on that, and then it comes and it turns out it's a class 1. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who even sells this shit anymore? What year is this?
You know what this reminds me of? Unrelated tangent, but this reminds me of when I was really incompetent at my job, at my last job. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just a complete asshole, but I was just doing very kind of administrative duties around the office. And one of the very first things I did, probably my first month, was that my boss wanted a new wall calendar. And so she said, here, I like this calendar, which I currently have, but it's going to be out of date as calendars become. Can you just get me the same one for this year?
No, you did not.
And so
There's no way.
I'm like, yes, boss, got it. And so the first one I order, it's the correct year, but the size, you can't see it here because you're listening to this on audio. But for those in the room, it's about not quite the size of that whiteboard.
Holy shit, that's huge. But for people at home, that's like 3 by maybe 3 by 4 feet, 5 feet.
So that might be a slight exaggeration, but it was huge. It was a huge calendar. And I showed it to her and she looked, she's like, the fuck are you doing? No. And so she says, can you go get me the right one? And I said, yeah, sorry. And so I go back online and I'm like, fuck, I gotta get the smaller one than this. So I order the next one. This one is about the size of that. It's like a piece of loose leaf paper.
8 by 10.
It's a tiny mini calendar. And so I have to then walk to her office and say, hey, so got the calendar. It's super tiny now.
How did you not check the size?
I did. I just did a shitty job checking the size.
did.
You're just like 8.5 by 10. That sounds good.
It sounds like a reasonable size for a calendar.
Oh man.
I can't even remember if I got the right one after that, or she was just like, you know what, I'll just use the calendar on my computer. I don't remember, but I got the huge one. I got the super tiny one. It just happens.
Jesus. And then you had a conversation about that promotion you've been looking for.
Right afterwards.
So anyway,
So about that raise. Yeah.
think you could pencil me in on your calendar?
Based
I'm
on
doing great work around here.
based on the skills I've exhibited so far.
I like to think I learned from all my mistakes.
After the second time. I mean, the first time, yeah. The second time, that's just a gimme. And then the third time, yeah, now I've learned for sure.
Oh, man.
So for Clive today, we're going to chat with him. He's a fan of the pod. I'm curious to know how he stumbled across the pod, how he became a fan.
Yeah.
I want to know more about him. What is the DNA of a person who stumbles across this podcast and becomes
Continues
invested?
to listen.
We beat up on Clive. He's like a little brother. I don't even know if he's little. We have no idea really anything about him. I treat him like a little brother because we gave him shit about his slushies he brought to the movie theater. We gave him a shitty idea about finding women that involved getting a neck tattoo.
Yep.
Everything's been bad. But he's a great guy. And I wanted to play a game with him because I'm curious to know if he can correctly identify in a game of Can of Squirms who we would think is the most likely to exhibit these traits in the Can of Squirms game. And so for those of you who didn't listen to, I don't know, what was the last episode, maybe, I'm not even going to try and guess. One of the episodes of the retreat, we brought this game called Can of Squirms. And just to kind of recap here, it's a physical can. It's a large can. It has little squiggly, squirmy lines all over it. And the basic idea here is that in the game, in the can, there's a bunch of different cards. And on the cards, there's different scenarios, like, who is most likely to be a serial killer. And you have to debate amongst each other who is in the group the most likely to be that thing. And so what I figured is that we can go and using all seven of us here in the podcast, we have to come to consensus about who is the person who most represents this trait. And they have to see if Clive will come to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
All right. So first off here, and again, we can use all seven of the podworms, even Mike and Peter, who are not in attendance today. Who is the most likely to be stockpiling a secret bunker for the approaching apocalypse?
Ooh. That's a tough one.
Out of all of us?
Out of all of us, including Mike.
I'm going to say you, Andrew. You spend the most time at home.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Kevin because of his large steak purchases.
I think I am the most ready.
I hate to
Frozen
say it,
food.
I was going to go Kevin as well because
Yeah.
you have the most gadgets and knickknacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could film the shit out of the apocalypse. I'm just vlogging in the apocalypse.
I mean, he has the most used Costco membership out of everybody, I guess.
Okay, he's a guy
Bulk.
buys in bulk.
Buys in bulk.
And that's a key component of stocking up the bunker. Okay, fair enough.
Cool.
Who among us would make the most excruciating children's TV host?
Excruciating how?
Doesn't specify. That's
Children's TV host.
that's for us to decipher.
I'm gonna go Andrew.
I'm gonna have to go with Phil because of how hairy he is.
That's just excruciating because
there's
he's
no way
unpleasant to
Two can
look
play
at.
this game. What about your crazy wompity womp music? Children are going to be very disturbed by that.
Actually, kind of as a side note for this disturbing, the piece of that children have is one of my coworkers was like playing music in their car, and they had like a 3-year-old, they had like a 5-year-old and like a 6-year-old in the car in the back, and she was like, "Oh, listen to this music my coworker made," and she told me. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I showed the little kids your music," and I was like, "Oh my god, cool! That's so awesome!" And then she's like, "Yeah, I made them cry." And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Wait, your music made these children cry?
Yeah, my music made these kids cry. So
And case closed.
Maybe Phil has a good point.
freaking closed right there.
Feels like a story you just keep to yourself.
yeah, every time I like talk about music, and she's like, "Oh, does this one make kids cry?" And I was like, "Maybe."
So most excruciating TV host, Chase.
Wow, great.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like that's bullshit, but okay.
I mean, you kind of just you. What's the term?
You sold it for us.
Yeah, you sold us
you
on.
did.
yeah, true.
I was not on board, but you made me think.
There was an old bit Chase had, Chase's kitty corner.
That's
Oh,
right.
my fucking
Yeah.
God. That's right. Yeah. I don't recall. Maybe.
All right. Who would get the most laughs at an open mic comedy night?
Ooh.
What type of open mic are we talking?
How
interpretation.
open is this
Stand
mic?
up.
Like is this like the casino, or are we talking like the LA comedy
I think we
store?
can decide what that's going to. I think for us, this is going to be.
This is a big one. This is going to be a point of contention in the future, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Once we decide on
Oh,
who's the
yeah.
funniest.
we haven't even considered Mike or Peter at all in any of these questions yet.
I think that for
They're
the
not
purpose
funny.
of this should be like Thursday night at the casino. We're talking 1:30 a.m. kind of slot.
So
Ooh,
are we
that's
talking
a
like,
tough
so
one.
this is a broad demographic then? You had to appeal
At
to
the
everybody.
casino, yeah.
This is open mic. This is anybody. Anybody's game. And you can't tailor your performance at all.
Yeah, this isn't.
Well,
this,
I mean, I'm trying to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Okay.
but is it like, are you a Jerry Seinfeld type comic where it's clean cut, or are you like Gilbert Gottfried that is like extremely just like polarizing?
I mean, it depends on who you are. I don't think
Yeah.
the
Well, you're at
audience.
an open mic.
you
Yeah.
know.
You're not
I am
performing
me
for money.
wherever I am.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Don't let the people.
All right, so
change
Phil,
you.
next question.
Put Phil
Okay.
down.
Phil, we think Phil's gonna be
Put him
get the
down.
most laughs.
I'm gonna go with Mike on this one, actually.
Friendship ended with Chase.
Because I feel like, actually, I think he's done stand up before. Isn't that right? Didn't he do a thing for stand up one time? And have any of you guys done stand up
No.
before?
I
I've
have
done
stood up.
wedding speeches.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's true. Oh man, Kevin did have a pretty legendary wedding speech. That's a really good point.
You know,
Yeah, I
here's
changed-
here's something interesting, Kevin. We were just talking about your wedding speech the other day because "Help the boy" is still a quote that gets
Oh,
passed
yeah.
around
Oh, yeah.
frequently.
Absolutely.
That was my dad's.
Yeah, that
speech.
was
Right, which is a legendary quote from your dad's speech. But then, because we were talking about it, and it just always comes up. So at Mike's wedding,
It always comes up.
it comes
It
up.
does.
It comes up frequently.
Pretty often.
Yeah.
At Mike's wedding, his dad gave a speech about Mike getting trapped underneath a sofa, I think.
Uh-huh.
And the big thing that Mike said was "Help the boy."
Help the boy.
And this
Are we saying that the best stand-up comic is Phil McCoy right
is
now?
Mike's dad.
Yeah,
I think it's got to be.
that's
I think
good.
it's got to be one of the McCoys. 'Cause
I think
they
he'd probably kill it.
They both sprung from
Phil would probably do a
From
great
him.
job.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Phil
Okay.
it is.
Phil McCoy.
Well, here's
Damn it.
I don't know if Clive is going to be able to guess Phil McCoy unless he has a very
We could just make it
insightful-
a McCoy is the right answer.
yeah,
okay.
hey,
All right.
one of the McCoys,
One
I
of
think,
the
is probably the
McCoys.
right answer
All
for
right,
sure.
fair enough.
Half point.
Okay, who would survive the longest in a gangland prison cell?
Whoa.
Now, to me, this almost seems like a home run. It's Phil.
Yeah, I think it's Phil too.
100%.
Probably. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
definitely Phil.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Well, when we were at the retreat,
You seem like you would be able to.
I don't know if you even remember. Do you remember this, Phil?
I choked the shit out of you.
You choked the shit out of me. That's right. We decided we were going to do a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah.
And I thought we were adhering to the classic rules of physical education wrestling back in 8th grade, where you get in a specific position. There's a sense of honor involved. And all that happened was that I was on all fours. Phil started
In the referee's position.
over the top of me. He had like an arm around my torso. And then the second that somebody said start, Phil put me in a chokehold. Cut off my air supply immediately.
You were right. You were just backwards from where you should be.
Yeah.
Because you set yourself up for a guillotine immediately.
That's true.
That's true.
Phil went straight to prison rules. So yeah, definitely Phil.
He did.
To be fair, you probably, I don't mean to disparage you.
Sure.
You probably weigh twice as much as I do.
Oh, easily.
So, that's kind of cheating just by the nature of the setup. So I figured I needed to,
This is David and Goliath.
The odds were
I needed
against
to
him.
even it a bit.
Plus, I feel like Phil would be able to fashion a shiv out of something pretty easily.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm really good at really good at getting along with my prison roommates.
Oh my god.
So we're going to say definitively Phil for this one.
Yeah, definitely.
For
Definitely after that one.
a multitude of reasons. And then let's do, we have one more last one here. Who has most likely had impure thoughts about someone in this room?
Impure thoughts.
I'm just,
We have to give one to Peter.
I guess it kind of defines
Peter it is.
I think easily Peter.
Yeah, definitely Peter for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter's the kind of guy who he seems on the surface straight lace, keep it on the, straight and narrow kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I think that's just hiding something deep within.
Definitely.
The heart of darkness.
The heart of darkness. Yeah, exactly right. Okay. Peter, got it.
Great.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's get Clive on the line and see if he can successfully deduce those same answers. Let's see if he's a true space fan. Coming up next.
a real cadet.
Okay, and we are back with one of our favorite space fans, really.
Definitely my favorite.
One of the only people we've had an ongoing email saga with.
That's right.
Where at some point, you just can't keep emailing back and forth. You got to talk live in person. And that's what we got. We got him.
It's just enough of these will they, won't they? You know?
Yeah.
Finally, we get somebody on the line.
Let's just get down to it. So we've got live via Zoom, Clive. How's it going, Clive?
Well, it's going good. Awesome.
It's going. Well, Clive, for those of us who've been listening to the podcast the last, I don't know, how long has the saga been going on for now? Six or seven episodes back.
Yeah.
You might know Clive as the fan who writes us from South Africa. And is that where you're residing right now, Clive?
Yep. Haven't moved.
So you're in South Africa.
We've gone international, baby.
We're international. We're recording here in beautiful Seattle. It's 7 p.m. What time is it for you there, Clive?
It is 4 a.m.
So it's 4 a.m. So my question is, did you wake up early for this or did you stay up late for this?
I haven't slept.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
The dedication.
That's cool.
That is a true fan. So
Yeah, I don't think I've ever put this much dedication to anything my whole life.
well, I think that first of all, this is truly thank you for staying up to chat with us. That is an insane thing that I can't remember the last time I stayed up until 4 o'clock for anything. So thank you for staying up. Also, you may very well be, and I don't have the statistics to back this up, but you might be our very first international fan. So that's pretty big too.
Awesome. I'll make myself a t-shirt.
Yes. Well,
definitely.
Don't make it. It's on the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think you might be our new South African correspondent.
Wow. So are you guys paying me or what?
I need to get paid first.
Yeah, we're still working through all the logistics. So stay tuned for that.
They have Venmo in South Africa or...
Yeah. What's the payment options like? Can we do Facebook Pay, Venmo? What do you got over there?
I think it's PayPal.
PayPal.
We can do that.
I don't know if we have that.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used PayPal in my life either.
Okay, PayPal. All right, we'll keep that in mind. So, Clive, first of all, how did you find the podcast?
It all started when I went on Instagram and I had a message from a guy named Mike
Yeah.
using the Podwords account.
Okay, he's on the corporate account. All right.
Yeah, and he was like, you know what? You should check us out. Let me know how it goes. I was like, okay, cool. Immediately downloaded 3 episodes and binged them.
Yeah.
Got back to him. I was like, this is cool. I like it.
All right.
That's amazing.
So you binged through 3 episodes. Have you gone back into the? How far back have you gone, or are you just kind of keeping current with the new episodes?
Started with episode 1.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Clive.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
True fan.
So you went back to episode 1. Have you actually gone through from the beginning? Like, how far have you made it from episode 1?
Well, caught up. Listened to all of them.
What? Wait,
Wow.
this is truly. I am actually. My mind is blown.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Clive as Clive Superfan.
Yeah, number 1 fan for sure.
Now it's written. Now it's done.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone among us who has listened to every single episode.
Yeah.
Especially not my parents.
Well, it's an easy listen.
That's true. We're not throwing anything too challenging at you. That's
Nothing too heavy.
too challenging to digest. Okay, so you've gone through every single episode. What has been your favorite segment? Is there anything that sticks out to you as something that you just love to hear again or love the first time? What was like the best story, the best segment? I mean, I'm truly curious from someone who's gone through every single episode. What have you really enjoyed?
Okay, this might sound weird, but it's every time you guys talk about shit. And I'm like, I can relate so much. You know, it's so relatable.
Wait,
Oh
Clive,
my God.
Clive, how do you wipe? Front to back? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah.
We gotta know.
Yeah, what's the technique?
Front to back.
Front to back. Okay.
Respectable.
Classic, okay.
Yeah.
Classic.
Very respectable.
Yeah. Tear off another piece. You stand up. You check. And you wipe again.
You're a stander?
He's a stander.
You stand up?
Gotta make sure. Yep.
Oh.
All right. I mean, there's a few of us. There's a few among us here who are of that same technique.
That's right. That's right.
You know, it's great to hear because when we start getting off in the tangents, we start going into the bathroom talk. I wonder, is there anybody out there that's just turning this thing off the second we start talking about shit? But quite the opposite for Clive, where he's just turning it up.
Turn it up to 11.
It's validating my whole being on here at all.
That's the whole point of Kevin being.
I got a question for you, Clive. The podcast gets a little convoluted. We got a lot of people on here.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you have your favorites, but who'd you vote off? Who'd you vote off the island?
Vote off. Wow.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. You better not say Phil.
And I'll tell you this: Mike and Peter are not here today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So vote for them. Both of them.
I was gonna say Mike.
Wow. Gut reaction.
Got him.
Got him.
But only because Mike is such a big presence, you can't take too much Mike.
That's fair.
You need a break between mics.
I love that.
He's like the cumin of the podcast.
Delicious, but gotta let up on it a little bit.
It's small amounts. And it's funny to say that because that's exactly why he's not here today. We just figured after he's on the last few episodes, let's just give the fans a break. Okay, that's good to know. Well, so Clive, you've listened to how many episodes? Almost 80 episodes of this show at this point. What are you doing when you're listening? Are you doing chores? Are you like driving around? What are you doing when you're listening?
Well, I'm an insomniac, so I listen and read all my stuff in the early hours of the morning.
Okay.
And since I'm unemployed, happily unemployed, I sleep the rest of the day and then catch up on podcasts. in the morning.
So this really is almost your full-time job.
Pretty much.
Wow. We do need to get you a paycheck then. So
yeah, definitely.
Okay, after we're done recording, Clive, you send us your address. We're gonna mail you something.
Yeah,
we gotta get you
We're gonna mail you something.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Uh,
what if we got Clive like 20 t-shirts, and Clive, being the South African ambassador, can go around town and he can spread the good word of the podcast and hand out some merch.
oh, I already started.
Oh, have you?
Oh yeah, I got a couple of friends who I think I've been hyping the pod a bit too much because they've gotten really excited.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's incredible.
Oh my God.
I was like, I'm gonna be on the pod, and they're gonna be like, oh, really? Let me know how it goes.
That's amazing.
That is awesome. I mean, there's no chance we're going to be the number one podcast in America because we're competing with NPR, Mark Maron, Joe Rogan. Not going to happen. But the number one podcast in South Africa. Now, this
That sounds good.
is a goal we can aim for.
Yeah, I don't have much competition, I'm afraid.
You know what, Clive? If you can just gather 100 of your closest friends and get them to, we will fly out to South Africa and we will do a live show. We'll have the first international performance. It's going to be a real thing.
Absolutely. 100%.
Do you know any construction workers?
No, but I could probably find a few.
I love it. You're a true fan. You're a true Blue fan. You got the time on your hands. Let's make this thing happen. I love the enthusiasm. This is great. This has exceeded you were excited to talk to us, but truly, I think we were excited to talk to you.
Definitely.
Sweet talkers, the whole lot of you.
You know how it is. Also, Clive, can you pronounce your actual name for us? We were very excited to hear the proper pronunciation. We know Clive is just your nickname. How do you pronounce your real name?
Well, my full name is Swanisom Sarangosi Clive Shilembe.
Okay. Yep. There's no chance I would have been able to say that.
Okay, first name is Swoniso.
Swoniso.
Sboniso.
Swoniso.
Swoniso, yeah.
Oh, Niso.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, the second one's a bit harder. Sawengosi.
Sawengosi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
close enough. Then it's Clive.
Yeah, we'll probably stick with Clive. Well, cool. Well, Clive, before you hopped on the mic today, we were playing our game here called Can of Squirms. I'm not sure if you've heard us play this game yet, but the basic premise here is that there's some different situations. Just kind of, we discussed amongst ourselves who among the podworms would be most likely to exhibit these different traits here. So what I'll do is I'm going to read you the situation, and based on your comprehensive knowledge of the show, I want you to explain to us which one of us would most likely fit the situation I'm explaining. Does that make sense?
Cool. Do it.
Okay. So starting off, who among the podworms is most likely to be stockpiling a secret bunker for the approaching apocalypse? And you can choose from any of the 7 of us, including Mike and Peter, who are not here today.
Let me put up my comprehensive list.
Yeah.
The guide.
Get the list in front of him so he can.
Yeah.
Can I give my reasoning?
Right.
We would
Yeah.
encourage it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
I would say Phil. Because I feel,
Phil.
yeah, I feel like Phil is the most to worry about in the coming day. If there is ever an apocalypse, he'd be one of the first targeted, I think, by pretty much everyone for his skills. So I'd have to prepare.
Thank you, Clive.
Yeah. Let's murder Phil. He's got skills.
I voted for myself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I initially thought Phil because he seems like the most unhinged. Who? Oh my God. He just seems like the kind of guy who would want a bunker for some insane reason. We ended up deciding on Kevin because he has a stockpile of meat already. And so he's already kind of building the bunker. So we decided with Kevin, but Phil sounds like a pretty reasonable answer too.
Yeah.
I agree.
Only because he's crazy, though, not because he's good at things.
Yeah, because he's insane. Okay, here's the next one. Who do you think would make the most excruciating children's TV host?
Andrew.
I was right all along.
Okay, listen.
Not even a breath.
I'll accept that, but I'm curious to hear your reasoning.
You've gotten so used to hosting for adults. That's a weird way to pronounce it. Adults.
I would just start improving with the kids and start talking about shitting and porn and
Yeah, you just terrify the poor tykes.
yeah. Okay. All right. That is super respectable reasoning. Okay. All right. I can get behind that. Who do you think would get the most laughs at an open mic comedy night? And I'll give you some background here. We had a tough time deciding this too because I think we all think we're pretty darn funny guys.
Hey,
Hey, Andrew, don't influence him. This has to be a pure
Yeah, I wanna
result.
hear-
Okay. Sorry.
yeah.
All right. That's all I'll say.
I'd say our resident homecoming king.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's amazing to hear. Thank you so much, Clive.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's basically all he brings to the show. So, by the way, Clive, stay tuned because Chase has set a personal goal that before episode 100, he's going to bring his own segment to the show. So he'll stop riding the coattails of the rest of the gang.
I'll finally have a bit.
What will you call it?
Oh, yeah. What are you going to call it, Chase?
You know, there's a lot of ideas brewing around. I don't want to give anything away right now, so I'm going to keep that to
He has
myself.
no idea.
Clive, I thought you were on my side, man. It's okay. I still love you, but yeah.
Okay. Next up. Who among us is most likely to have had impure thoughts about someone on the pod?
Let's not do the obvious and go with Mike. Wait, Mike might be the obvious.
Wait,
Wait. Okay.
what's the obvious?
Yeah. Who's the obvious one here?
Can I not say?
I mean, you could not say, but
Yeah.
I really want to know.
we're curious.
We'll edit it out.
Oh, I legit forgot the name. Oh.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. That's
Mike?
okay.
Okay, Mike, that's fair. We said Peter because Peter just gives off, and you have to, it's really only if you know him in person, but he gives off this weird shifty vibe whenever he's around you. And I'm pretty sure I caught him taking a picture of my butt one time.
The initial answer was going to be Peter, but I didn't want to rag on the guy. Really like him.
Clive, you're one of the pod worms.
Yeah,
you
he
truly nailed
is.
it.
He knows too well.
nailed it.
He is truly in the dynamic.
Yeah,
He
especially
is.
about that part about me being the funniest.
Yeah, I mean, that's where up for debate. Okay, and then here's the last one, Clive. Who would survive the longest in a gangland prison cell?
Well, I'd say I would, but
I would agree with you, Clive. South Africa is way crazier than Seattle.
Yeah, I vote Clive as well.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
But excluding yourself, who would it be?
are we taking that answer? Because that's my answer.
Yourself?
Yep.
I'm good with that. I mean, you're essentially an honorary podworm at this point.
Yeah.
You've listened to more episodes than any of us have.
true.
I mean, none of us have been here for all the episodes. So I think that Clive and probably also Daniel,
Yeah.
they might be the only two people who have listened to every single episode. I'm curious though, if anybody else has listened, let me know. But I think right now, Clive is definitely the pod fan.
Oh, yeah. Number one fan for sure.
Number one
He's
space
the
fan.
Papa Worm.
Not that it's a competition or anything, but I am winning.
You know, we'll make a competition out of just about anything. So, you know, it feels good to be the winner. Wow. Well, Clive, this has been fantastic. It's truly been great chatting with you. Have you ever been out of the country, by the way? Have you ever made it out to the States, out of curiosity?
I haven't even left my province, which you would call a state.
Holy smokes.
So yeah, I haven't really traveled. I've been
Wow.
stuck in the same city my whole life.
That's crazy. Yeah, I guess for me personally, I haven't been that far I've been across the country, but the farthest I've ever been is Canada. And it's funny, we were talking about paying, sending Clive his check. It's hard to even pay someone in Canada if they all the main payment methods are blocked. Like you can't do Facebook Pay, you can't do Venmo. It's like they make it so tough, even though we're so close. But we'll figure out something in South Africa. Maybe a classic snail mail.
Yeah.
Get the care package out there.
Yeah, whatever works to beat the man.
Yeah.
Well, Clive, it's been truly a pleasure to chat with you. I am not being facetious when I say we need to chat again soon. We got to get your own bit on the show. I mean, you truly are the 8th podworm. And if you ever do leave not only your province, but the country of South Africa, and you make your way out to Seattle, we got we have one last mic port in our recording device here. We can give you a microphone, hook you up. So the offer's out there.
Awesomeness. I'll hold you guys to it.
All right, Clive. Well, I know you're an insomniac, but it is about almost 4:30 there in South Africa. So try and get some sleep, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
All righty, Clive.
Okay.
All right, man.
Bye, Clive.
Talk later.
Bye, Clive.
Cheerio.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Well, we just wrapped up with Clive. Honestly, a true legend in the Podworms community.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's listened to every single episode we've ever done. That is amazing.
What a trooper.
Looking forward to hearing more from Clive. You have not heard the last of Clive.
Definitely not.
No.
If you want to become, if you want to challenge Clive, because he's at the top of the mountain right now. He's got the crown. He's undisputed champion of the pod. If you want to challenge Clive and come at the king, go through the archives. Listen to episode 1 through whatever the current episode is. And then maybe we'll have you on the pod and you guys can fight it out. I don't think you're going to top Clive, but you can give it a shot.
I fully recommend starting from episode 20 and going forward.
Yeah. It's like, isn't there that fan-made series of when you're watching the Star Wars videos, the Star Wars movies, you're supposed to watch them in a specific order?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like us, but you just start episode 20 and pretend the first 20 don't exist.
Skip a huge chunk of it.
Same idea though. If you want to reach out to us and send us some pod mail, PW Spacecast is the place. Why do I always fucking drop the email address off the end?
Try it again.
All right. If you want to send us some pod mail, pwspacecast@gmail.com is the place to be. We read all the pod mail on the show.
Yes.
So get involved. You can follow us on all of our social media, Podworm Spacecast, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yes.
And we have a website, pwspacecast.com. Never get that one right. And most importantly, if you like the show, you're a fan of the show, if you're a true fan like Clive, you're going to spread the word. Clive is out there. He's on the streets. He's telling people all about the show. He's spreading the love of the show. And if you're a true fan, you got to do it. Share it with a friend, a family, a fucker, a coworker, or even a construction worker. Most importantly, construction worker.
Yeah.
And as always, space fans, until next time, keep squirming.